legitimate swells.
Like we felt on the swim today.
There was a hype that there could be swells, but I think all in all, as for a swim, from what it was hyped up to be, I think we got pretty lucky today.
But I will say bright, fruitful, and adventurous describes us pretty well.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I already cracked mine. I didn't want to wait for the video to start. My bad.
We had a race today.
It's a good race.
We did.
We all jumped off a ferry, one by one by one. The swim, we are in a bit of Lake Erie, so there was some chop, but it really wasn't that bad. There was a lot of talk prior saying, oh, this is going to be a slowish swim. And yeah, it wasn't my best swim, but it wasn't considerably slower. So I still feel like I had a good swim. Yes, there was some chop, but there was a little bit of current that took you on the backside. So it kind of all equaled out.
Caitlin and I basically swam together the entire way, like from start to finish. Swimming still leaves something to be desired, especially if I look at my age group rankings, and I looked once and I won't look again.
We got a surprise this morning. This race has never been wetsuit legal, and I think about 4:30 this morning, the Ironman tracker app posted the update that it was wetsuit legal, and we were like, wow, we weren't really expecting that or planning for that. I had low expectations for the swim. I really expected it to be worse than it was. I think all of the conditions came together for race day to make it perfect. We had overcast skies, so we weren't swimming into the sun heading back toward the finish. And we also, like Caitlin said, had a little bit of current that was pushing us. And I came out of the water about the time that I expected. It was respectable and it was a good start to my day. I was happy to get out of the water, as you've seen possibly in a previous episode, and get on to that very flat bike course and see what my legs were gonna do on the day.
We did show a little video of less than desirable things in the water, but I will say, honestly, I don't think it was the worst water we've ever swam in.
No.
So
Same.
this is all talk. I didn't have much of a plan going into this race, but the little bit of plan I did was I was gonna send it on the bike and see what happens. And that's what I did. About halfway through the bike, I realized, it dawned on me that not one female had passed me yet. And so
Cheers to crushing it.
Yeah.
cheers. And so I just kept that with me. I was like, this could be a bike course, a bike race that I might not ever see another woman pass me. And so that fueled the remainder of the bike course. And also, you know, our mantra is race mighty. And that just kept my drive. Yeah, there were a couple lulls where I kind of lost a little bit of power, but then I regained it and felt strong all the way to the finish. I was 6th in my age group, and I'm pretty pumped about that.
You came up behind me and you just went. I mean, I know we had a few words as you were kind of passing me, but you looked strong, you looked great, and that kind of boosted me to keep going on my ride. I was having a good ride. My power wasn't working when we got set up in transition before the race, and so I didn't have any power to go by, so I was going by heart rate, I was going by average miles per hour, but I know you can't really judge that too much, but I used those metrics, and I was having a solid start, and there you go, flying by me, and all I could think was to tell you to just go crush that bike course, because I know that's your bread and butter and that's where you really shine.
I haven't uploaded my ride to Strava yet, so famous last words, but based on what I saw on my Wahoo, this should be my highest power output ever in a 70.3. And that was sort of by design. For this one, I just wanted to get different and see what could happen. So I wanted to do 10 watts higher than what I'd been shooting for in the previous 3 races. I think I got there. I'll check, but it should be my highest power output ever in a 70.3. And if not, I'm sure it's real close. So it was a good day for me.
A good day for me as well. I think anytime I can go under 3 hours on the bike, that's kind of my benchmark. I've been fighting and scrapping and trying and hoping and all the things and training to try to do that. And I can't remember exactly the last time I had gone under 3 hours on the bike, but it's been a while. I started to do the math and saw that I was gonna go comfortably under 3 hours, and that just had me hyped because I've been trying so hard. I've been trying so hard to get back to that point, and it felt really good. It was a bike course that was made for me. I like flat, I like time trial, and also I love perfect, smooth asphalt.
Boom.
And I would
It was
say about
really good.
98% of this course was pristine.
Tiffany was having such a good day that I was starting to get nervous because I wasn't catching her.
Yeah.
I wasn't catching her. And I was legitimately getting worried. And I'm
I was
like,
doing the same thing because
and
it
then-
took a while for us to
And
get
the
to her.
same thing happened to me is I was like, Caitlin and Colin haven't come by yet. Oh my gosh. And then I start
yeah,
freaking
and then
out.
Colin
We
had-
all got each other nervous.
Colin hadn't caught me, so I was like, oh shit, did Colin know that something happened to Tiffany? And Colin stopped, but then eventually I caught up to Tiff and Colin caught up to
It was
me.
after
But
the first aid station. Like
Yeah, it
I
was
was
well into
cycling
the
and
ride.
like, I know I'm going pretty quick and I have not found either of them yet. So I had questions and I'm glad the answer was crushing it.
made my way out of T2. Unfortunately, I don't think my nutrition was quite right on the bike, and so I had some GI issues going on. So unfortunately, I didn't make just one nor two, but 3 potty stops along the 13.1 mile journey. I was a little worried right out the gate that it was going to be a struggle. I tried to power through it the best I could, but I knew I needed to make those stops or it was going to be a bad day.
I wasn't quite sure what kind of run I was going to have today, especially coming off that bike. You know, in the back of my mind was did I overbike? And then the second thought that I had was, it's been 8 weeks since Chattanooga. We're in the depths of summer in Austin right now, and the training, even though the training has been good, it hasn't been the same quality because we do have to adapt to the heat. We do have to kind of dial some things back. Nothing in training gave me any kind of indication that I was going to have the type of run or the type of day that I had today. Even on the bike in training, I feel like my power has kind of diminished a bit since Chattanooga. I had no idea what I was in for, and I kept seeing the mile splits. I'd look at my watch to see what the mile splits were, and that was the only thing I was looking at. I had no idea of cumulative time. And I was happy with my splits, and then I got to the last 3 miles, and I'm like, well, if you can just do 10-minute miles, you're gonna have pretty close to what your run was in Chattanooga. And all things considered, yeah, that would have been a big win. I just kept ticking the miles away. Like, man, it doesn't feel as easy as it felt in Chattanooga, but the time's pretty close. It's a short finish chute, which was really nice. You make that right turn, and
right
there it
there.
is. You don't have to have the anticipation and the buildup. I was so grateful for that. And it's lined with spectators. And of course, I'm gonna get the spectators involved, and it was incredible. Great energy heading to the finish line. I saw Colin and Caitlin. I crossed the finish line, and I knew I wanted to see what the time was. I thought the time was gonna be close to Chattanooga time. I thought it was gonna be 5:50, mid 5:50s. And I turned around and I saw 5:46, a 40, I had no idea. That, like I said, I did not anticipate anything of my day being like that. And there it was. And I was just like, yeah, I did that. I did that. You know, I've been coaching myself, and I've had the 2 best results that I've had in 3 or 4 years. I mean, I can't knock anything about how this day went.
Damn! 5:46!
It's not a fluke. I know what I'm doing.
Are we supposed to say something after that?
Yeah, I don't know how to follow that. Like that's kind
Also, I have cedar fever. Thank you, Northern Ohio, for the allergies. I've been sniffling the whole trip.
So maybe my run didn't go as I had hoped, but it was really awesome getting to see both Colin and Tiffany 3 times. I think we all crossed paths 3 times.
a lot of high fives.
So the run course is pretty much just 3 roads that run parallel to each other, and it's just like kind of back, down, over, down, across, up, down. Very spectator friendly.
My run was fine. It took me about 5 miles to shake off that I had probably overbiked, but like I said, I was experimenting at this point. When you've done 4 of these in 2.5 months, you got to do something different. And it didn't really impact the race in any way. But the first 4 or 5 miles, like the first kind of zigzag through, I didn't feel as great as I normally do. And I was kind of wondering if it was going to be a longer day, and I'm glad to have shaken it off. But you know, whatever. You live and learn. Maybe the next time I'll actually taper and prepare for one of these.
But Colin,
Where's the fun in that?
You're complaining about a PR.
Right, I mean,
Yeah, he failed to mention that he PR'd this race.
today was 5:08, and like I have said way too many times on these recaps, it's a new PR for me. I've said my goal for the year is to finish one of these under sub 5. I'm creeping towards it.
How you feel?
Another PR, 5:08.
508.
Getting closer to that sub 5 goal. It was a great day, even if I felt a little sluggish on the run.
Speaking of great day, I did not expect the time result, and I sure as heck didn't expect the placement result. After the race, we got our athlete food, sat down. I got reunited with my phone, and I really wasn't going to go through my phone or look at anything, but one of the top notifications on my lock screen was Tiffany got 6th. And I saw that and I was like, no. So I pulled up the tracker app because I had to know where I finished, because it surely couldn't have been 6th. Well, it wasn't 6th because there were some people that must have finished between that time that message was sent and the actual time that I checked it.
Screenshots are forever, Tiffany. You can share that and say 6th.
Well, I didn't see the 6th, but I saw 9th. And I was like, it's almost been long enough that I feel comfortable that this result's gonna hold. And I got a little teary-eyed because it's a top 10 at a race that's pretty competitive and a pretty deep field. I think there were 57 or 60 females in my age group that finished, and to finish 9th in the top 10 after, you know, the long road that I've been on and taking the plunge to coach myself this year. Man, I mean, if Chattanooga was validation, I don't know what this is, but anybody who's doubted me or anybody who's given up on me, that's fine, because I'm finding a whole new potential in myself, and I'm doing it for myself and doing it my way. And there's a lot of reward in that.
When you showed me that when we were having our pizza underneath the tent, you showed me that, I thought we were just gonna sit there right together and just cry.
If there weren't so many other athletes around, I might have. I held back the tears.
Look, y'all, I cry all the time at these things. It's okay.
Yeah, it was, and also, you know, it wasn't yet reality. Like, it wasn't final, so I didn't want to get too pent up into it, but
it's final now.
It's final now, and I have a top. It's not my first top 10. I think I had a top 10 in Lubbock, but those fields there weren't as many athletes, so I feel really validated
Race
with
results
this result
last
today.
forever. Screenshots last forever. Top 10.
Yeah,
Badass.
I'm really proud. Really proud. The course was great. Incredible spectator support. The volunteers were incredible. I can't say enough about just the organization and just the community support, everything that was out there that made our day possible and that made our days better.
I will say all the homes that run alongside the course, a lot of them came out and were cheering. A lot of them had sprinklers out in the road for you to run through.
There were so many sprinklers, like more than I've seen in any race combined.
People with garden hoses asking, hey, do you want spray? Yes, give me the water. Out on the bike course, it was pretty much just farmhouses out there, but also all the families from like neighboring farmhouses would come together and sit at the end of their driveway.
All the triathletes, all 1,400 of us, were the local celebrities.
They cheer us all on. They don't know who we are, but they were just out there just...
Yeah.
I like cowbells.
A lot of cowbells.
Yeah, a lot of cowbells.
It was great. I know we've done a lot of 70.3 races, and I know we just finished this race just hours ago, but I'm willing to put Ohio 70.3 at the top of some of the Ironman races that we've done. Logistic-wise, this was super easy. One transition, parking was simple, spectator-friendly. I mean, it was easy.
Yeah. Cheers to all.
Cheers to you, Colin.